Part 2. The cursed video. The cry that wouldn't stop. I didn't sleep. Not that night. Not really. I stayed curled up in bed, staring at the ceiling, while the faint sound of a baby's cries drifted through the house. It was muffled, like it was buried behind walls, but every so often it rose, shrill and sharp, making my skin crawl. I kept telling myself it wasn't real, that maybe the house was just old, making noises that sounded like crying, but I knew better. The phone calls, the voice, the rules. And now this. Something was inside that private room. The TikTok returns the next morning. I unlocked my phone, half thinking it was all a dream, but there it was, TikTok somehow reinstalled, sitting on my home screen. I swear I had deleted it. I opened it, hands shaking. The first video on my feed was a shaky, low-quality shot of the rotary phone downstairs, the same one that wouldn't stop ringing. The phone sat silent in the video, but then, the screen static filled the frame, and in a distorted voice, a woman whispered, "Please save us." I scrolled away instantly, but the next video was worse. It showed me sleeping in my bed the night before, my body lying perfectly still, face half turned to the camera. I couldn't breathe. Someone had been in my room. And then the whisper returned, "I have been watching you." For a long time, work emails that didn't make sense. I tried to distract myself with work. I opened my laptop, logged in to check emails, but the inbox wasn't right. Mixed in between. The usual office messages were strange ones that didn't belong. One subject line read, "Are you working this weekend?" I clicked it. The body of the email just said, "Yes, I am working on the weekend." Another said, "I'm sorry for being 2 minutes late." And then another, "Next time please, be on time." At first, I thought my account was hacked, but these weren't spam. They were written in my own tone, like I had sent them myself. One more appeared while I stared. New and unread. "I will take your body. I will take your soul." The sleepwalking that night. I set up my webcam. If the TikTok video had shown me sleeping, I wanted to know the truth. The next morning I reviewed the footage. At first it was just me, tossing and turning. But at 3:11 a.m., my body sat up in bed. My eyes were open, wide and glassy, staring straight at the camera. I climbed out of bed and walked toward the door. But here's the part that makes my skin crawl to this day. I didn't just walk. I crawled, on all fours, moving slow, mechanical, like something was pulling me forward, and then, faintly in the microphone, "I make you walk, I make you crawl." The third phone call that evening. The phone rang again. This time, I didn't want to answer, but something in me couldn't resist. My hand moved before I could stop it. I lifted the receiver. The woman's voice screamed this time, high-pitched and panicked. "He's here. Please, save us. He locked us in." "Where are you?" I begged. "Tell me how to help." The static drowned her out, but I caught a few words, repeated again and again. "Private, private, private." And then a new voice cut in. Deep, low, almost a growl. "Stop trying to save her. She is not yours to save." The line went dead. Behind the private door, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed a hammer from the basement and went upstairs. The private door loomed at the end of the hallway. I struck it once, twice, until the wood cracked and the brass plate clattered to the floor. Finally, the door splintered open. Inside was a small, dimly lit nursery. The wallpaper was peeling, but a crib sat in the center of the room. A baby's blanket lay crumpled inside, but the crib was empty. Against the far wall stood a mirror, old and warped, and in it, I saw myself, but not me. Not exactly. My reflection was smiling. Wide, unnatural, teeth bared. My real face wasn't. Then my reflection leaned forward, pressing its hand against the glass, and from the mirror came the whisper, "I will take your body. I will take your soul." The last TikTok I ran from the room, heart hammering, slamming the door shut behind me. When I checked my phone again, a new TikTok was waiting. The video showed me, from behind, standing in the private nursery, looking into the mirror. My reflection on the screen grinned wider than any human should. At the end of the clip, text appeared across the screen. "This is your last video. The truth that night." I woke to the sound of my own voice, not in my head, not a dream. I heard myself whispering in the dark. "I've been watching you for a long time, following your trail." I whisper into the night. "I make you walk, I make you crawl. I will take your body, I will take your soul." And the worst part, it wasn't coming from me, it was coming from the reflection in the mirror at the foot of my bed. That was the last night I ever stayed in that house. I left everything behind: the furniture, the phone, even my laptop. But no matter where I go, TikTok keeps finding its way back onto my phone. And sometimes, when I look in the mirror, I'm not sure if it's still really me staring back. If you thought part 1 was terrifying, and part 2 made you uneasy. Just wait until you hear the final story connected to this house. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because the worst part of this nightmare is still coming. Final whispered line, please save us.